the first thing that I laid out was the aims that I wanted to get from doing this assignment, and it was to establish my strengths and weaknesses so that I can act on them in the future, and to set some objectives as part of my personal development plan, and to learn more about myself so that I know how I can actually achieve these objectives. So this is my personal development plan, and with all the points I want to go into. But my short-term goal was to improve my time management regarding assignments, because something I've learned over the past 3 months is that it always seems to get left to the last minute, and then I'm stressing for the last couple of hours trying to submit it. The way I'm going to do it is actually sit down and plan out a timetable, so that I know that by this day I'll have this much of the assignment done, and then the last day I should only have the final bits to do. My medium-term goal is to improve my academic writing, because we got our first assignment back and that was one of the points on it, and it is something that going forwards I'm going to need to develop. So I'm going to do this by getting the feedback from the tutors and just reading through it and trying to act upon it, and then just keep working on it. And then my long-term goal was, we sat in a lesson once and we had to say our destination, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. So I decided that in the next 12 months I want to know what I actually want to graduate with, because I don't even know what pathway I want to go down yet, so I want to know what I'm actually going to do. My self-assessment showed that I'm VOP is a kinesthetic learner, my Honey and Mumford is an activist, my Myers-Briggs ESTP, which I provided on the website, showed that I'm a doer, and then my Bellman was a chairman. So my Honey and Mumford showed that activists are those people who need to learn by doing. Activists need to get their hand out in diving with both feet first. I think this sort of reflects the fact that I don't plan anything, because I just go straight for it, and it normally goes wrong at some point, but I would still give it a go anyway. And my Myers-Briggs shows that I look at a situation, the facts of a situation, decide quickly on what should be done, execute the action and move on to the next thing. The picture there is of me at work, and I think that was the thing that summed that one up the most, is we get put in situations where they're never going to be the same, and we just have to act upon it as best we can and try and get on with it. And then the doers, they like to have fun. That's a picture of me having fun. My Bellman showed that I am a chairman, so a coordinator, and being good listeners and recognising the value each team member brings to the table. And as a swimming teacher, something you have to do. One of our rules is that we're not allowed to just say a negative thing, so we have to say a positive and then follow it up by something they can improve on. And I think that that's taught me that you've got to learn to find the best in people so you can say something to them. My mark shows that I learned through trial and error and use of all my senses, because I'm a kinesthetic learner. And I think being easily distracted shows this for me, that I'll sit and I'll look at something for 5 minutes, and if I'm reading through it, I'll just stop and I'll go and find something else to do. And I think my PowerPoint shows it, that I wanted to put pictures in to show what I'm actually doing rather than just having text and loads of text. My SWOT analysis showed that my strengths are I'm fairly patient, confident, I have a positive approach to everything. My weaknesses are that I'm impulsive and I get easily distracted. My opportunities is education and training, and my threats are 0-hour contract and increasing tuition fees. So my strength was being positive. My strength being patient, confident, and a positive approach. I think that comes from being a swimming teacher. You can't get anywhere, you can't shout at them, you just got to be positive, say what they're doing well, and then work on it and try and improve it. And being confident, because you will get about 70 kids in an evening, and you've got to stand up and talk in front of all of them. My weaknesses, I put down as being impulsive. So that's Royal Holloway University, which I should have actually been going through geography. And within about a week, I made the decision to pull out and come here. And I don't regret the decision, but there's always a thing that I could have thought about it more rather than going straight in with the decision. And I probably should have thought about it more before making the decision to go there. At the bottom, I went travelling for 5 weeks, was supposed to, and I left after 3 days, because I didn't like it. And I think that links back to me being impulsive as well. I went there, and within the first day I decided I didn't like it, and so I just booked a flight home. And my opportunities and threats, I put as the University of Hertfordshire. I have the opportunity to do education and complete a degree, but also that's a threat, because if I want to go on to further study, then the tuition fees could increase, and I don't know what other people from other universities are going to have to compete with. And then, so my conclusion is, I've learned the way that I learn. I know that I'm a kinesthetic learner now, and I need to try and apply that more rather than just knowing that I'm a kinesthetic learner. I've learned my strengths and weaknesses, and they're what I'm going to try and use to act upon to meet my targets. I've discovered how to be reflective. At the beginning of the module, I really struggled. I sat and tried to write my first blog, and I didn't know what to write. But by the end, I sort of learned in day-to-day life it's easy just to sit and take a few seconds and think what went well and what didn't, rather than just leave it all to the last minute. And I've decided what I need to improve on. And there's my references. Does anyone have any questions?
So you got on this aeroplane to go backpacking basically to where?
We went on Europe. So we had an Interrail ticket for a month.
And you 3 days into it, you didn't like it.
No.
Where were you?
Valencia.
Were you homesick?
I think it was probably half that, and the fact that I didn't like staying in the hostel. I was in a room with 12 people that I'd never met before. It was just a bit daunting really, I didn't really know what to do. And I didn't like the fact that we had to make our way from one place to another with nothing booked. So you didn't actually know whether you were going to make it to the next place in time for your accommodation, because we couldn't read any of the timetables. No one spoke English, it was just, we were running around and we didn't have a clue what we were doing.
So you like predictability,
Yeah.
but you act indecisively.
Yeah. I think that's something I probably need to work on. Like, I like to know what's going on, but I just make the rational decision because I don't plan, I don't think about them before I do it. Just give it a go and then see what happens really.
So since September,
Yeah.
have you changed?
Not really, no. I wouldn't say I have. At the beginning of this course, I looked at withdrawing because the first few days and weeks I just didn't know if I was going to like it, but I stuck with it and now I'm enjoying it. So I'm glad that I did. I think that's one thing I probably have improved on by doing that, is prove to myself that I can stick with something, and I probably would enjoy it at the end.
I'm even more confused. Just on that one, what changed your mind
What?
about staying on business?
Speaking to people, really. I spoke to, I know a few people who are teachers, someone teachers here, and I spoke to them and they said that just give it a go, it doesn't matter if you drop out. I spoke to my parents and they just said if you drop out a year down, it doesn't matter, just carry on, give it a go. I wouldn't do that now, but I sort of realised as well that I wouldn't be doing a lot else if I wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
And I want something to do in my life, I don't want to go into full-time work yet, so.
It's interesting because I can certainly look at you and say you're an impulsive young man, you're going to just do something for the sake of doing it, but then as we go on, I'm just a bit torn actually between you come to do business, which I'm grateful for, I think compared to geography, worlds apart. Career-wise, I mean swimming, teaching is obviously just something to fill the gaps.
I'll do that until I finish uni really.
Because on your strengths you said patience, you get bored very quickly. So I know they're two
Patience,
different
yeah,
things.
I think
I appreciate patience with
people,
kids, I get that.
Whereas
Reading something
being bored is
meaningless.
just when I'm by myself doing something. Like if I'm trying to do work, I'll just be distracted easily.
And just going back to the reason why in Valencia you decided this is not for me, I think I would have made the same call, you know.
Yeah.
I think there are people around us today that love the whole notion of, I don't know if I'm going to be sleeping in a bed tonight, sod that. I think I totally get that. I just wonder, do you think you're attracted to business because it gives you that, almost that assurance that, you know, if I work hard, I could earn this much money?
Yeah, I think
Is that why you're
it's
in
probably
business?
a safe option for me. I think had I been in geography, it would have been, I would have known what career I would have been going into so much. But business, I think, is more, my family have their own businesses, and I know that whatever happens, I'll be able to use this to benefit them. So I know that I've got something at the end of it.
Choose the plan to go as a primary business.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
The option's open.
Any questions from anybody else? Derek, thank you.